What are the benefits of succession planning? By the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through a structure that will not only maximize the payday of transition, but also ensure that you draw max value from this thing that you have poured your soul into. Most business owners think the biggest threat to their business is a competitor or a bad economy. And also know this, when it comes to transition succession, this thing is either going to be a gift or it's going to be a curse. The reality is when we think through numbers as it relates to succession planning, we do have to think about this, and you might have even heard me say before, 4% of businesses ever live to see their 10th birthday. I remember where I was at, by the way, when I heard that fact. It's a buddy of mine, his name's Jesse Cole. He owns a small little outfit called the Savannah Bananas. And you've probably heard about it. These guys go around and they play baseball. It's like a circus act, like the Harlem Globetrotters meets Ringling Brother and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and it's all together. Anyway, Jesse and I actually had him on my podcast. He was, I think it was the first podcast he had ever done, and we got to talking, and I was like, hey, will you come speak to some of our clients? So Jesse came out and started speaking to some of the clients, and he said that number, 96% of businesses fail. And I'm like, there's no way. And it's true. 4% see their 10th birthday. Where are you in that? And can I say this? If you're beyond 10 years, congratulations. Don't jump over that. That's an important fact. You need to make sure you celebrate it. I'm going to walk you through benefits of succession planning because that's what you asked for. At the same time, I do want to encourage you to go watch a powerful video I've posted for you, how to build step-by-step an actual succession plan that you can leverage and use. But right now, I want to show you the benefits of those. So make sure you click on the links below in the description, and then I'll walk you through all of those. So I want to start with these 4 benefits, and I've lined them out up here on the board with R, S, C, and C, with one crossed out, you'll see that, and V. Now, you'll have to pardon my artistic expertise, but I think you'll get the point as I go through it. So let's talk about the first benefit in your business by creating a succession plan. And that would be this idea of reward. So when we're thinking about rewards in our succession plan, we need to look back and go, hey, what was the reward we created the business for in the first place? And so a lot of those rewards can be things like paychecks. I want to be able to live. I want my kids to be able to go here and us as a family to go here and whatever. And so you think about those near-term rewards that a lot of times when you start a business, you can actually get to pretty quickly. But then there's some longer term rewards you start to see. In fact, right before this video, I was just on the phone with my wife, and we were talking about the fact that we're just over 10 years old as a business, and literally our business is 10 times the size it was at the end of the first year. And so you look at that and you go, wow, that's amazing. Well, yeah, and laborious and hard and challenging and all of those things. But there are also some long-term rewards that we're experiencing, like seeing 12 other full-time people draw their income and value off of this one business. We're seeing 115 clients around North America that are drawing value from this one business and the systems that we built. So there's not just the near-term rewards that are out there, but there's a long-term reward as well. I also want to say this. Some of you come from different worldviews and backgrounds where you may look at rewards and go, no, we want to minimize that. No, there's great value in understanding the power of rewards. Rewards can be very magnetic. They can start to draw us to things, and the byproduct is we start to offer value to other people. So rewards actually incentivize us cross-connecting as a community and as humanity. So there's value in rewards. We don't want to downplay rewards. We also don't want to over-exalt a reward. So the sole motivation of our work can't just be the reward. There's got to be a lot of other stuff that comes with that. But we also need to see a benefit in succession planning, and one of those is identifying the rewards that you want, not only near-term, but also long-term. And so once you can see that as a benefit, you can start to articulate. This is also a great time to tell you about another powerful video that I have put in place for you that will take some good time and help you to dive deep in how to plan for some of those rewards by clarifying a great vision story for your business. So if you want to have clarity on where you're headed as a business, go click on the link in the description below and I'll walk you through how to build that vision story. So there's a second benefit for you doing succession planning, and that's this idea of setting a stage. So I want you to imagine this in your business. You come in and you've built this business over here. My wife and I were just at a show the other night watching this show, Water for Elephants. It was a theater. It was an amazing show. And one of the things that I think about every time I read a playbill in one of those shows is not just looking at the lead actors or the supporting actors, but I always make a point to look at the support personnel. Why? They're the stage setters. They're the ones that are setting the stage, and then the curtains come down so that you've got these actors, again, pardon the artistry, but you've got these actors on the stage that are able to do what they do. When you build this business, you are setting a stage for other people, not only to be able to display their talents, the things that they're good at, but also that they can now perpetuate that value to other people. My wife and I, by being audience members in the audience, were able to draw value from the stage, the actors, but those actors could not perform without the stage personnel. And that's what you're doing as a business owner, is you're setting a stage for these other people to be able to thrive, to grow, to develop. Now, there's a third benefit. This is going to be a little bit challenging. So I want to talk openly and honest about it. You see two C's on the boards back here. The first C is called out, and then we've got the second C that's open. What does that mean? That means one of the benefits that we want to have and look for in succession planning is we want to root out chaos and instead introduce this idea of clarity. I want to tell you about this, about chaos. I believe chaos is the enemy. There's a verse that says this: the enemy is prowling like a roaring lion looking to devour you. And here's what we found, and we've actually tabbed that enemy the name of chaos. We see business owners that deal with that all the time. But the thing we've got to be aware of with this idea of chaos is an enemy that not only prowls, but it comes in and out. And so it'll visit you in one form, and then it'll go back into the woods and retreat once you beat it and overcome it, and then it'll come out. But here's the other thing about chaos, is it's never dressed the same. Chaos doesn't come out looking like chaos. Chaos comes out in a distracting form, looking like things that are going to get us. There was a book that was written a couple of years ago, and it focused on the nexus of the year 2012. It's by Jonathan Haidt. He's a social scientist out of NYU. And here's what he talked about, is there was this perfect kind of nexus point in 2012 where you had the meeting of not only the front-facing camera, you had unlimited cellular service that was pretty ubiquitous, and Facebook had bought Instagram. So it was these merging of tides that were coming together to create the perfect storm of us being able to exalt ourselves all the time. And still to this day, we walk around, we were just out to dinner the other night, and wildly uncomfortable as a young person was off to our side, and they were posing for their own selfies. And you're like, just take a normal picture, right? But the reality is it's created this kind of world of chaos into what we have, and all of that's distracting around what? This idea of clarity. And so what we want to do is root out all of these distractions, all these things that are competing for our attention because they're so easy to get to at this point, and we want to dive into the hard things. And the hard things will usually bring clarity. And once we can dive into the things like the 4 P's of purpose, people, process, and profit, then we can break this out into things like marketing, sales, operations, administration. Now what we're doing is we're creating clarity that goes back to the second part of what we're doing in setting a stage so other people can thrive. And now not only do they draw reward, but you draw reward as well. And so what I want you to do is look around at your modern context today and ask yourself, where am I devaluing clarity by giving in to distraction, which is causing chaos? Now, there's a fourth benefit in creating a healthy succession plan, and that's this idea of creating value. Now, most of us, when we hear the word value, we think about monetary value, and there's certainly importance in that. We want to do that. I think when we go back to this idea of rewards, we think about this idea of monetary value. But there's value beyond just the money. But let's start with the money. There's sales price value. You can increase the EBITDA value, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. You can increase the multiple of that EBITDA. In fact, I'll link to a video here in the description to where I actually walk through a little bit more of an overview of how to value a business. And so you can watch that there so you understand what that means. So we can increase the monetary value of the business, but we can also increase the value that that business brings to other people, meaning we can scale and thus impact more employees and more customers. And so more people get to interact with what we do. Here's a core conviction that we have in business, and that is that work explains faith. What does that mean? It's this idea that when faith is a conviction of something you cannot see. So just imagine, man, I'd love to have that, whatever that is. Work is the creation of that thing that does not exist. So let's say that I've got a widget in my mind, and it looks something like this. I'm just making this up. Well, right now that's just in my mind. But I can then go to a 3D printer. I can go to an architect, an engineer, a designer, a wonderer, an inventor, a designer, whatever, and I can actually have them create that thing. I am now demonstrating some measure of faith in what I'm doing. And so all of this, when we look at these rewards, part of the benefit is that by doing this, it actually increases your faith as well. And your willingness to be able to walk into situations that before you were a little skittish to be able to do, but now you've got more courage to be able to do that because you've made more commitments to generate these wonderful benefits of building a powerful succession plan. What's true is the benefits of succession planning is it offers you options. When you don't have proper succession planning, you're limited, you're fixed, and you're bound by distraction. But when you've got great succession planning, now you've got unlimited options so that this business can run and grow with or without you. My name's Scott Beebe, and we work with business owners just like you, between 3 and 100 employees, so that you can be liberated from chaos, draw the benefit from your business, and make time for the things that matter most.